Hi everybody, today we're going to make two trinket boxes, two. They're both made in slightly different ways, but they both use recycled materials, and you can keep your keys in them, your coins in them, your earrings in them, whatever you like. They also make really nice presents for people, and at the moment it's quite hard to get out to the shops. Well, you can't really go to the shops to buy presents, so you could always make something for a friend's birthday or something to celebrate a special event in your family. So I'm going to show you how to make these two. They're really easy. I'm going to make two different types of boxes today. I'm going to make one box where we decorate the outside, so it'll be just like that, but with paper on the outside. And the other one is we're going to use the mould, which is just a piece of packaging, as the outside of the mould, and then we're going to make our box on the inside. And so we'll need some cling film for that to stop the paper sticking to the inside. So all you'll need, again, all recycled stuff, or most of it recycled stuff, this is an old cheese box, some plastic packaging. I've got my newspapers, my magazines for my paper. I've also got some pieces of coloured paper, and I'll show you what we're going to do with those a bit later on. An old cream or yoghurt pot for my glue, which I've got here, and an old paintbrush for the glue. Already mentioned my cling film. I've got some dead matches which have already been struck, so they're not dangerous, and I'll show you what we'll do with those. I've got a piece of paper and a pencil in case I want to try out things, maybe do some little drawings to try things out, and my piece of newspaper to keep my table clean, to stop other people in the house getting annoyed by my mess. So to start with, we're going to take one part of our plastic mould, and I'm going to push the cling film around the mould to stop the paper that I'm going to put onto it from sticking to the outside of the mould. Again, just tearing the paper into strips, just painting like that, and squeezing it down into my mould. So now it's time to take my purple and yellow case box out of its mould, and I'm hoping it's going to come out easily because I've put the cling film in to stop it sticking to the bottom. And look at that, it's come out beautifully. And now we can just peel off the cling film from the paper like that, and we've got our perfect shape, which of course we're going to have to do something with the edges, but we'll come to that later on. And we're now going to make the second part of the box, and remembering that the bottom layer needs to go down the side of colour that you want showing at the bottom, and then the second layer goes down with the colour of the paper that you want showing at the top. So I've got my second part of my mould, which I'm just going to take the cling film off, and here it is. Now I've got all these sort of edges and haven't quite worked out what to do with them, but what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to make a little hinge, because I quite like that sort of hinging open like that, flapping open, and it also keeps them together. Cut one of the bits off the extending edge here, and the same on the other half of the box. And then I'm going to extend these by sticking some more strips, and then stick one inside and the other one on the outside, and that will be my hinge. And then I'm going to cut the remaining bits of overlapping edge off, but leave a bit at the front because we're going to put a little catch on that with one of our matches, which I will show you how to do in a minute. So for the catch, I've taken a piece of straw and I've covered it in my lovely papers, my purples and mauves and yellows, and I've glued it onto the inside of my box just here. So again, using paper to attach it down. And now what I'm going to do is make a hole for it to fit through, a slot for it to fit through in this little bit of overlapping edge here. And you might need somebody to help you with this because it's a bit tricky, because you have to make a hole in this first and then cut the shape out. So I'm going to make a hole and then I'm going to draw the shape on that I want to cut out, cut it out, and hopefully then this piece will fit through the hole and secure it. So now I'm going to make the stick to go through our loop here. So I've cut the hole in the top, and that's the bit that's going to fit through it, and then we want something to hold it in place. So I'm going to, got 3 matches, dead matches, and I'm just going to wrap paper around them to hold them together. So I'm going to glue up the paper here. Whoops. I quite like the end sticking, leaving the end sticking out so you can see that they're matches. So I think I might do that. I might just leave them, and hopefully that will fit through our loop here. Yep. And now that all that really remains to be done is to trim off the ends, which I'm going to do with some scissors. Just to even it up a bit. Making things with moulds, like we made this with a mould, it's really exciting because you can change the shape very easily, and all you have to do is remember that this is a negative shape, so you'll get a positive shape out of it. So by putting different things in your mould, or making your mould into slightly different shapes, you can create different versions of your positive from the negative here. So just experiment, play around with it and see what you come up with. So I've decided to use, I think I'm going to use red and sort of dark blue for this box. And then maybe put a sort of splash of gold in it, because I've got a splash of gold scrap paper here. So I'm going to tear my red and blue bits of paper into strips and get quite a few strips before I start. So that's what I've got so far, and I think I'm going to put some lettering actually on the top of the name of the person I'm going to give the box to. Haven't quite decided who that's going to be yet, but I also quite want to put a bit of gold on, because I think that might just kind of add some finishing touches and be quite nice. So I think what I might do is I might actually cut the letters out of gold, use some scissors to draw on the back the letters and then cut them out in gold, but in quite a sort of informal, haphazardy kind of way, because I think that would look quite nice. So I've stuck my letters on, Jazz, and I'm going to put it over on the radiator to dry, and I'm going to then start on the second half of my box. So I'm now working on the base part of my cardboard box, and I am going to do it in blue and red again. So I'm just tearing out my strips of red and blue to stick on this box. So now I've got the 2 halves of my box, and actually I think that the inside looks a bit rank really. It looks like it could be cheered up a bit, and I've got some red tissue paper left over from some present wrapping at Christmas, and so I'm going to tear that into strips and glue it onto the inside to finish it off. And as always, don't forget to send your examples to us at the email that you'll see in a minute, because we would love to put anything you do in our virtual gallery, and I'm sure you'll do much more interesting, exciting things than I've done, and I can't wait to see everything. Good luck. Bye.